episode 548 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Tonight, we had a huge action-packed night of pro wrestling. Gonna be talking about WWE Royal Rumble Premium Live event, which featured 2 championship matches, 2 Royal Rumble matches. TNA stars appeared, and we found out who cashed in their ticket to WrestleMania. Also, be talking about tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision, which also had a lot of exciting pro wrestling action, a great pro wrestling match, and an elimination escape the cage match in the main event. Got a big night of pro wrestling to talk about, and you better fasten your seatbelts because we are now on the road to WrestleMania. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, wrestling fanatics. Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And this Saturday night was definitely all right for fighting. Not only did we have AEW Saturday Collision as usual, but tonight was also the WWE Royal Rumble Premium Live event streaming live on Peacock and the WWE Network everywhere else. First off, though, I just wanted to say, normally I know on the nights of premium live events, I try to do a special live episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, but apparently Spreaker has taken away the live feature for some reason. So I'm just recording this right now at 2:51 a.m. on I guess you could say early Sunday morning now, after I have watched the Royal Rumble, watched the press conference, and then watched AEW Collision. And now I am ready to talk some great pro wrestling action, as I said. And haven't said this yet, but I am Lance Brock. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And let's get right into it. Let's talk about WWE Royal Rumble 2024. And the Royal Rumble was live from St. Petersburg, Florida at Tropicana Field. Our commentators for tonight, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and let me just say this was a part of the show that unfortunately happened, but yes, we get Pat McAfee out here. And I have talked about this on the podcast before many times. With me, it is definitely go away heat. I just can't stand. I know he's not going to hear this because he will probably never listen to this episode, so it doesn't matter. But I just want to say to him anyway, even though he won't hear it, is your job, a commentator's job, is to get the guys in the ring over. They are the stars. Those ones in there putting their bodies on the line in the ring are the stars, not you. So quit trying to get all the attention on yourself, trying to get yourself over. You're supposed to be trying to get the guys in the ring over. The pro wrestlers. Not some, I don't know, what was he, a football player, some washed up football player. Now he's got a stupid little radio show. So he comes out here and he tries to steal a spotlight, get all the attention on himself. And like he did when Nakamura used to come out, get on the announce table and do that stupid dance. Unfortunately, Pat McAfee was on the whole show tonight. And could have too bad there's not a mute button where you could just mute one of the announcers and listen to Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And then wouldn't have to listen to that idiot McAfee. Makes me sick. Sorry. Well, like Triple H, I usually, like Triple H said, try to focus on the positive, and I usually do try not to be too negative here on the podcast. But so I'm going to try to not let that idiot Pat McAfee ruin it. And we kick things off tonight with the Women's Royal Rumble. And first up is Natalya Neidhart. And number 2, it's been talked about for a while. And it is the former TNA Knockouts champion Naomi, and like I said, it's been talked about online recently that she would be probably returning to WWE, and of course Michael Cole brought up her past in WWE, but he also mentioned her time in TNA as well. And more about TNA in just a little bit. Number 3, representing Damage Control, it's Bayley. And then she is followed by Candice LeRae. And then the number 5 entry in the Women's Royal Rumble is the current TNA Knockouts World Champion, the Juggernaut, Jordynne Grace. And yes, she did come out with the TNA Knockouts Championship. If you remember, a couple years ago, Mickie James, when she was at the time, Impact Wrestling, Knockouts champion. She actually appeared on the Royal Rumble with the Knockouts title. So I thought that was pretty awesome to see Jordynne Grace in the Royal Rumble. And at one point, she comes face to face with Naomi. And they stand there for a second. And then they hug. And then they start going at it. Throwing punches at each other. And number 6 is Indy Hartwell. Followed by number 7, representing Damage Control, it is Asuka. Number 8, Ivy Nile. Number 9, Katana Chance. The number 10 spot goes to the EST of the WWE, Bianca Belair. Number 11, the final member of Damage Control in this year's Royal Rumble, Kairi Sane. Number 12, Tegan Nox. And then at this point, Tegan Nox eliminates Natalya. And then Nox is eliminated by Bayley. Number 13, Kaden Carter. And Kairi Sane is eliminated. And then almost right after that, Asuka is eliminated, leaving Bayley on her own without her Damage Control teammates to have her back in the Royal Rumble. Number 14, Chelsea Green. And Jordynne Grace and Bianca Belair fight onto the ring apron. They have some back and forth exchanges. And then Belair hits Grace with the KOD on the apron. And then she rolls to the floor. Jordynne Grace is eliminated. And next up at number 15 is Piper Niven, partner of Chelsea Green. Number 16, Xia Li. 17, representing the Latino World Order, Zelina Vega. 18, representing the Alpha Academy, Maxine Dupree. And Kaden Carter is eliminated at this time by Piper Niven. Number 19, we have Nia Jax. And Nia Jax eliminates Niall and Xia Li here. Number 20 coming out is Shotzi Blackheart. And Maxine Dupree is eliminated by Bayley. Piper Niven eliminated by Nia Jax. Katana Chance, is eliminated by Nia Jax. And number 21, the man, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch eliminates Chelsea Green. Number 22, Alba Fire. Number 23, Shayna Baszler. Number 24, Valhalla. And as Valhalla is coming down the aisle to make her way to the ring, R-Truth comes out confused, didn't know that it was the Women's Royal Rumble, and then Adam Pearce comes out and tells them that it is the Women's Royal Rumble, sends him to the back and tells Valhalla to get into the ring. And then Valhalla is eliminated at this time by Nia Jax. 25 is Michin, Mia Yim. 26, Zoe Starks. 27 from NXT, Roxanne Perez. Number 28, finally, the in-ring debut in WWE of the first ever AEW TBS champion, Jade Cargill, finally making her in-ring debut for WWE. And Jade eliminates Nia Jax. Number 29, also representing NXT, is Tiffany Stratton. And the final spot in this year's Women's Royal Rumble, number 30, Liv Morgan, making her return to in-ring action after an injury. And Zoe Stark is eliminated by Liv Morgan. And Tiffany eliminates Roxanne Perez. And Becky Lynch and Naomi are eliminated by Jade Cargill. Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair are eliminated by Bayley. Down to the final three. Jade Cargill is eliminated by Liv Morgan. And then right after that, Bayley eliminates Liv Morgan to win the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble. It's official. Bayley is going to WrestleMania. 64 minutes, 57 seconds for this one is what I had for it anyway. I thought this year's Women's Royal Rumble was actually pretty enjoyable. I'm glad that they had Bayley stay in there from number 3. Look very impressive. The return of Naomi. And she was also very impressive in this match. And Jordan Grace representing TNA in there, which they had her, they let her have a good showing in there as well. So the Women's Royal Rumble this year, in my opinion, was actually pretty enjoyable. I thought it was pretty good. And next up, the Fatal 4-Way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And it is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns defending against L.A. Knight. Yeah, the Viper, Randy Orton, and the phenomenal AJ Styles. I thought this one was actually a pretty good match. And there was a couple times where it did look like we could see a new Universal Champion crowned. But in the end, it is the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, winning this fatal 4-way to retain the Universal Championship at 19 minutes, 48 seconds. Really good match, and I don't know if I would really say I wanted Roman Reigns to lose the title, and I might have been the only one, but I actually thought that there could have been a chance that they may have taken the title off of Reigns tonight. And personally, I know he really hasn't been a main event star as of late, but I really would have liked to have seen them put the title on AJ Styles, mainly just because I am such a big AJ Styles fan. I was hoping for that. And now we have the WWE United States Championship on the line. Logan Paul defending against KO Kevin Owens. And I have to admit, once again, Logan Paul actually impressed me. Him and Kevin Owens actually worked a pretty darn good match together, in my opinion. And there's interference from one of Logan Paul's buddies, or at least he causes a distraction anyway. And Logan Paul gets brass knuckles, and then Owens ends up getting him. And while this is going on, the referee calls for security to get rid of Logan Paul's buddy. And then Kevin Owens gets the brass knuckles, knocks out Logan Paul, goes for the cover. The referee counts 1, 2, but just before the 3 count, he sees the brass knuckles on the hand of Kevin Owens and disqualifies KO. So Logan Paul getting the victory via a disqualification to retain the United States Championship at 14 minutes, 1 second. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we do see a rematch between Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, possibly at Elimination Chamber next month, February 24th in Perth, Australia. And they could possibly make this one either no DQ or some kind of street fight, something like that. And then maybe they could put the U.S. title on Kevin Owens. And at this time, the attendance is announced as 48,044 in Tropicana Field, which is supposedly a record-breaking attendance there. And now it is time for the men's Royal Rumble match. And starting things off, number 1 is main event Jey Uso. And coming in at number 2, none other than the brother of Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso. So to start off the men's Royal Rumble, we have 2 brothers going at it, Jimmy and Jay. And then number 3, Grayson Waller gets on the mic and cuts a promo on his way to the ring. And at this time, Waller and Jimmy Uso double team Jay. And number 4, making his return to WWE tonight, Andrade El Idolo. Of course, Andrade recently exiting AEW. And it has been talked about for a little bit now that he would probably be returning to WWE. And he showed up here tonight in the Royal Rumble. Number 5, Carmelo Hayes. And at this time, Grayson Waller is eliminated by Carmelo Hayes. Number 6, Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 7, Santos Escobar. Number 8, Karrion Kross. And number 9, representing the Judgment Day, Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. Number 10, representing the Latino World Order, Carlito. And Carlito eliminates Santos Escobar. Number 11, we have Bobby Lashley and the Authors of Pain, along with Paul Ellering, come out, causing Bobby Lashley to get eliminated. And then the Street Profits come out to have the back of Bobby Lashley. And then the 6 of them end up with Karrion Kross. He was eliminated too at this time. The 6 of them brawl to the back. And next out at number 12, Ludwig Kaiser. And number 13, Austin Theory. Number 14, Finn Balor. At this time, Balor eliminates Carmelo Hayes. Number 15, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Rhodes gets in the ring, eliminates Austin Theory. Number 16, Big Bronson Reed. He eliminates Andrade El Idolo. Number 17, representing the New Day, Kofi Kingston. Cody Rhodes eliminates Nakamura. Ludwig Kaiser is eliminated by Kofi Kingston. Number 18, the WWE Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. And he eliminates Kofi Kingston. Number 19, representing the Viking Raiders, Ivar. Number 20, from NXT, former NXT champion, Braun Breaker. He eliminates Jimmy Uso. He eliminates Finn Balor. And number 21, someone we have not seen in a little while, being accompanied by MVP. It is Omos. He makes his way out to the ring. He eliminates Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker eliminates Ivar. And this is where, I know this is quick, but it goes downhill here with number 2, because it's that idiot Pat McAfee getting in there. And I know they did the 1 year with the commentators, Michael Cole, Booker T, Jerry Lawler, each went in there, but it might be because Cole, Lawler, and Booker T aren't as dumb and annoying as Pat McAfee is. Just, he got in there, then he hopped over the top rope when he saw Omos and Braun Breaker, and then he just ended up eliminating himself over the top rope, which was just a waste of time. Pat McAfee is a waste of time and just doesn't belong anywhere near the wrestling business. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that can't stand him. Maybe other wrestling fans actually do like him for some reason. Don't know why they would, but number 23, we have J.D. McDonough representing the Judgment Day. And then number 24, I guess you could say maybe representing the Judgment Day, R-Truth. I thought this was very funny, very entertaining. R-Truth, instead of just getting right in the ring, he gets on the apron and wants to be tagged in, and he makes the tag to, I'm guessing, Tom, to his Judgment Day teammate, one half of the brothers, Tom and Nick Mysterio, as R-Truth calls him. And J.D. McDonough is eliminated by Jey Uso. And we see R-Truth pay tribute to, as he says, his childhood hero, John Cena, with the 5-knuckle shuffle. Number 25, it is The Miz. Number 26, representing the Judgment Day, Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. And Damian Priest actually eliminates R-Truth from the match at this time. And number 27 is CM Punk. The Miz is eliminated by Gunther. Number 28, Ricochet. 29, Drew McIntyre. And Jey Uso is eliminated at this time. Number 30, Sami Zayn. He eliminates Damian Priest. Sami Zayn is eliminated by Drew McIntyre. Ricochet is eliminated. And Gunther is eliminated by Cody Rhodes. And we are down to the final two, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And it is Cody Rhodes eliminating CM Punk at 68 minutes to win the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble match. Cody Rhodes going to WrestleMania. I didn't mention this yet, but we see in a couple of the skyboxes that the Universal Champion Roman Reigns and the World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins are watching as this is going on. And at the end of the Rumble, they make it look like that Cody will be choosing Roman Reigns to face at WrestleMania this year. So that was the 2024 Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Overall, I would say really good Premium Live event tonight. And I know I forgot to do ratings for each match separately. But overall, as a show, I'd give this 9 out of 10 ring bells. I thought it was a very entertaining show. We had a lot of good wrestling on this show tonight. And after we had the Royal Rumble press conference, and luckily for WWE, during the Universal Championship match was sponsored by Slim Jim, which they almost lost Slim Jim as a sponsor because I don't think I mentioned this yet on any of the podcasts, but when the whole lawsuit thing with Vince McMahon came out in the news, Slim Jim pulled their sponsorship from the Royal Rumble tonight. And then last night, after Vince McMahon resigned from WWE and TKO, they ended up sponsoring tonight anyway. And the press conference, first we hear from the Women's Royal Rumble winner, Bayley. And she takes a few questions. And then next up is Cody Rhodes. And then we have Triple H. And I'm definitely not surprised. I expected it. He was asked about Vince McMahon, and he didn't really answer, which I didn't really expect him to. He just said talked about the Netflix deal and what a success the Royal Rumble was. He wanted to focus on the positive. And I know a lot of people are probably going to criticize Triple H for not talking about it more. I have seen something already where Dave Meltzer has been criticizing Triple H for not saying more about it, but I don't have any problem with him not commenting on it. And also, Cody Rhodes was asked about it too, and he said they were pretty much found out the same as everybody else did about what was going on. And I kind of wish that nobody would have asked about it and just kind of, like Triple H said, kind of tried to focus more on the positive, had a really good Royal Rumble PLE tonight, and they could have talked about Raw, well, which they did. Yes, Denise Salazar, was it? Or maybe it was the other female from the media, but yes, they did bring up Netflix, and they could even talked about The Rock being on the board of directors for TKO. Like, they could talk more about the good, the more positive stuff, instead of bringing up the negative stuff. But I know that's what a lot of media does sometimes. They focus more on the negative things rather than the positive things. And that was the Royal Rumble and the Royal Rumble press conference, which the press conference was sponsored by C4 Energy. And it's funny because today at my store we actually got some C4 in stock, and there are 2 new flavors, 2 new WWE flavors of C4, and that is Ruthless Raspberry and Berry Power Bomb. So far, I have tried the Berry Power Bomb. That's pretty good. And I'm not a big energy drink person. I very rarely drink energy drinks, but yes, the only reason I bought them is because of the special WWE cans. And that, like I said, that was the only reason I got them. So I recommend, or at least one of them anyway. I haven't tried the Ruthless Raspberry yet, but you can go check your local store, see if they got them in. Like I said, my store where I work, we got them in today. So I got 2 cans, had one during the Royal Rumble, and now it's time to go over to TNT for AEW Saturday Collision, live from Bossier City, Louisiana. Our commentators tonight: Tony Schiavone, Kevin Kelly, and Nigel McGuinness. We start things off on Collision tonight with tag team action. The Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli take on Shane Taylor Productions, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. The BCC, Moxley and Claudio get the win. And the AEW International Championship is on the line as the AEW International Champion, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, takes on the winner of the freshly squeezed 4-way, which took place on Rampage last night, Commander. And we see the Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven at ringside, since Roderick Strong will be challenging for the AEW International Championship March 3rd at the Revolution pay-per-view. And Orange Cassidy gets the win to retain the AEW International Championship. And in the back, we see that Daniel Garcia, he was found by Matt Menard. He was attacked and bloodied in the back. And the main event tonight is supposed to be Garcia teaming with FTR to take on the House of Black in the Escape the Cage elimination match. So the storyline for the show tonight is, will Daniel Garcia be able to compete in that cage match in the main event tonight? And Mariah May is in action, defeating Lady Frost. We have an AEW Triple Crown champion proving ground match as the Triple Crown champion Eddie Kingston takes on Willie Mack. And this one was a pretty good match here. Eddie Kingston getting the win. And as Eddie Kingston is making his way up the ramp, we see the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, make his way out to the ring. And he just walks by Kingston, just ignoring him, disrespecting him. And he goes in the ring for his match against the legendary Yuji Nagata. And during this match, Eddie Kingston is on commentary. And we have the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, taking on Yuji Nagata. And let me just say, fantastic wrestling match here, just as you would expect it to be when you have two great wrestlers like Bryan Danielson and Yuji Nagata. And this is not the first time they're wrestling each other. Great match. Bryan Danielson getting the win, his first single victory against Yuji Nagata. I definitely recommend, just in case if you watched the Royal Rumble and haven't seen Collision, you should watch the whole show, but I definitely recommend this match, Bryan Danielson versus Yuji Nagata. You gotta check this one out, but definitely be worth watching. And next up, we have another women's match. Returning to the ring for the first time since 2022. It is Serena Deeb, and she takes on Robin Renegade. They have a decent match. Serena Deeb gets the win via submission. And then after the match, she gets on the microphone and says she wants the AEW Women's Championship. So she puts the women's division on notice, and she lets them know that she is back. And now it is time for the main event of Collision this week. A trios elimination escape the cage match, which the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews were originally supposed to take on FTR and Daniel Garcia, which earlier I talked about how we saw that Daniel Garcia was attacked in the back, but also I haven't mentioned yet. But FTR was approached in the back by Mark Briscoe offering if Daniel Garcia could not compete in the main event, that he would take his place and team with Dax and Cash. And it is now time for the match. FTR make their way to the ring. And then we hear "Reach for the Sky, Boy." And we see Mark Briscoe make his way out onto the stage. But as he is starting to make his way down the ramp, the lights go out. And he is attacked by the House of Black, and they throw him off the stage through a table, taking him out now. And then FTR run up the ramp and start brawling with Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King. And that's how the match gets started. All of them brawling out on the floor. And then Daniel Garcia makes his way out with his head bandaged up, with still a little bit of the blood showing from when he was busted open earlier. And then they do, all 6 men eventually get inside the steel cage, and the first to escape was Dax Harwood, followed by Brody King, and then Buddy Matthews and Cash Wheeler are brawling on the side of the cage. Cash Wheeler goes through a table on the floor. Buddy Matthews on the side of the cage, but instead of just coming down and escaping, it looks like he's gonna go back into the cage, so the House of Black will have a 2-on-1 advantage. But then he is knocked off the cage and goes through another table. And then Daniel Garcia is alone in the cage with Malachi Black. And the commentators really do a good job here of putting over how Daniel Garcia was already injured earlier in the night. And he is in there with Malachi Black. And then at ringside we see Julia Hart, and she spits the black mist in the face of Garcia. And it looks like Malachi Black is going to go to the door, walk out, escape the cage, and get the victory for the House of Black. But Daniel Garcia calls him back. He tells Malachi Black to finish him off, has the chair, and Garcia is able to counter, hits Malachi Black with a pile driver on the chair, and then, still blinded from the mist, instead of going out the door, even though the cage door is open, but like I said, he's still blinded from the mist. So he goes to the opposite side of the steel cage and starts to climb out. And while he is doing that, Malachi Black crawls towards the door of the cage. Looks like he is going to escape. But then at this time, Mark Briscoe returns to ringside and slams the door of the cage into the face of Malachi Black, allowing Daniel Garcia to climb over the top of the cage and escape to get the victory for himself and FTR. Really good match here. And I have said this many times on the podcast before. As far as cage matches go, I'm really not that big of a fan of the escape rule. I don't know why, I just never really cared for it that much. But this match, though, was very good. And this one is definitely a match recommendation. This is one you definitely need to see. Really good match here on Collision tonight. I was looking forward to this match, like I said, so as soon as I finished the Royal Rumble, I went on to Sling on the DVR, watched Collision, and started with this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and it's only 15 minutes to 4 a.m. right now, so maybe I'll get a little bit of sleep. And then tomorrow, or actually today I should say, we'll be here for Good Morning Wrestling fans. And so overall, I'd say a pretty good Saturday night of pro wrestling action. That's what I thought. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. If you watched both like I did, watched the Royal Rumble live and DVR'd Collision, or if you just watched one, that's okay too. Let me know your opinions and your feedback on the WWE Royal Rumble, on AEW Collision in the comment section. Or you could even email me, 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. And speaking of Good Morning Wrestling fans, tomorrow, the Sunday episode, I will reveal the match of the week. Like I started last week, I'm going to try to do that each and every week for now on the Sunday episode of Good Morning Wrestling fans, where I give my pick for my favorite match of the past week in pro wrestling. What match will it be for this week? You will have to just wait and tune in to Good Morning Wrestling fans later today, since technically it is Sunday now. And before I go though, just another reminder, you can leave your opinions and your thoughts on tonight's WWE Royal Rumble and also AEW Collision, whether you watched both like I did or you just watched one. Give your opinions and your comments in the comment section. either right here on Spreaker, on YouTube, or wherever else you listen to the podcast at, if they have a comment section. So like I said, we'll talk to everyone. Good morning, wrestling fans. And hope to be back soon, too, with new episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic as well. But for now, I'm going to go maybe try to get some sleep. But until next time, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.